What's good, everyone? It's your boy Santo G, back at it. You already know, spreading unity, prosperity, and respect above all. So today, I got a different one for you guys. I got what's the difference between Australia prison and a California prison? And the information I got is from one of my subscribers. So before anything, let me shout out Sydney, Australia, and let me shout out the homie Matthew, man. I appreciate you and let me get into his story. But before I get into his story, if you're new here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. I seen that more than half of my viewers are not subscribed. So if you can, before we get into this, please do me that favor. Let me give you a second to do that. Salute. All right, now that you guys are subscribed, now that your notifications are on, let's get into this story. Shout out Matthew. He said, shout out from Sydney, Australia. You got my like and subscription, brother. You would think that someone who has done a couple of years wouldn't want to listen to prison content. But US and Australia prisons are very different, and you guys in the States are just on a different level to anything we have down under. It was good to hear about the structure, organization that you live by instead of the normal horror stories that you normally get on prison channels. I would like to hear more about the politics of US prisons, or at least as much as you can say without taking it out of school. Australia prisons, NSW prisons to be exact, seem pretty tame compared to what American prisons seem to be like. The victimization, abuse, and all other brutal stuff I hear about in US prisons just doesn't really happen here. I say really because hey, sometimes shit happens. I agree with you there. In prison, but if something like that does happen in OZ, it's not systematic or widespread. That's because we keep things under control ourselves. We generally don't mind that groups, gangs of hard motherfuckers enforce our rules because we don't look at it like inmates policing other inmates or inmates telling other inmates what to do. We look at it like inmates taking the time and effort to make things safe and everything runs smoothly. Our structure and rules aren't anything special. You already mentioned a couple of them in your own video. In the main, i.e., as opposed to the HE Boneyard, which is what we call protection in OZ. If you are a sex offender, you are bashed and sent to the boneyard. Any crime against women and children, you're bashed and sent to the boneyard. If you're gay, trans, and apologies to any LGBTQ people, I'm just telling it like it is, or anything else freaky, you're bashed and sent to the boneyard. If you're a dog, snitch, rat, you're bashed and sent to the boneyard. If you prey on weakness and think it's okay to stand over, extort old or young inmates because they can't defend themselves, guess what? You're considered the weak one. You're the coward who has to punch down because you're a weak ass punk and you're bashed and sent to the boneyard. No, the only people with the power to set up and enforce widespread extortion would be the gangs and Aussie gangsters aren't broke, so they don't need to do that shit in the first place. If you're pretty, theft, or have stolen from a fellow inmate, you're bashed and sent to the boneyard. I could go on, but you get the drift. One thing I don't understand about American prisons is why all the real ones don't get together and stop the low down, protrude shit like the predators and booty bandits. Why are US prisons like the Wild West? And before anything, let me just say, Matthew, humbly, I appreciate you, man. Sitting down and writing all this, my boy, I had to make a video of it because everything you describe is pretty much what the faction that I was a part of stands for. You know what I'm saying? The Sur, pretty much you explained everything we stand for in what you just said. And I know that United States prisons get a bad rap because of other states, but when it comes to California, it's the same thing that you described. If you want to be active, you want to be in general population, you can't be no rat. You know what I mean? And with the utmost respect to my LGBTQ community, but you can't be trans, you can't be gay, you can't be none of that. You know what I'm saying? All those people off tops go to a SNY yard, you know? And I can't speak for SNY yards, you know what I'm saying, of what happens over there and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just something that I haven't experienced full force, you know, or anything like that. So I can't speak for that. But what I can tell you that everything you described in your story is the same thing that we stand for, you know. So when it comes to, I can even say when it comes to my norteños, you know, norteños, sureños, woods, you know what I'm saying? We don't stand for that shit. I could even say my others don't stand for that shit. You know what I'm saying? Salute to all my islanders, all my others, you know what I'm saying? I could even say they don't stand for that. You know, that's just something that is not tolerated, you know, and I shared a story with you guys of when I was in reception and some funny shit like that was going on and I took it upon myself to boobop homeboy, you know what I'm saying, just because of the simple fact of that the building I was in, it was 50-50. Like I said, there was a lot of like crazy people there taking meds and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? So I took the initiative to just go in there and boo bop old boy just for the simple fact that there was some weird shit going on right there. So me personally, any homies, personally, we don't stand for any of that. You know, everything you described is pretty much the same. You know, the only thing I think as far as our politics that are different is if you're a Southsider, you can't do business with any other race or any other car. You know, the only business you could conduct is probably with like a white boy. You could let a white boy tattoo on you, or you could sit down, play cards with each other, you know what I'm saying? Or drink coffee after one another, you know? Say if I'm drinking coffee and there's a wood that's my boy, we chop it up on a daily. He could drink some of my coffee type shit. You know what I'm saying? Only with another sureño or a paisa or a wood because we program on the same side. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm pretty sure the blacks, the norteños, and the others are pretty much the same. They could, amongst themselves, sit down at a table with each other, play cards, walk around the yard, you know what I'm saying? But as far as um, any other stuff like that, we're pretty much segregated, you know? I could see if I see a brother that I know from the streets, like, hey, what's up, brother? You know, give him a dabs and stuff like that. And we're respectful. We're real respectful. You know what I'm saying? I would say that's the only thing, you know. Don't do business with nobody else other than your own car. You can't eat or drink after another person. Um, don't walk in between the boundaries that you're not supposed to go to. And some prisons, you know, some counties for sure, Monday through Friday, you gotta work out, and they keep a list of people that come in and check in and work out and stuff like that. If you want to hear more about that, check out my older videos. I touched on that a lot. But I'm gonna let this one go for here. I just wanted to touch on that. I wanted to share your story, big dog, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Anybody else got an experience, got a story, tap in, and I will share it. We can get something going, start getting some interviews going. Just tap in. I got my IG, I got my email, or you could get at me in the comment. As you can see, I will respond. I appreciate everyone. Shout out Sydney, Australia. Shout out Matthew. Shout out all my boys. Let's get it. All my day ones. Everyone that's been tapping in, man. Humbly, I appreciate you. It does not go overlooked, man. Unity, prosperity, and respect. Let's get it.